Please consider supporting Black Women United YEG for the protection and advancement of black women and girls in Alberta. You can learn more about them at bwunited.ca. They are always looking for donations and volunteers. So please, again, support Black Women United YEG for the protection and advancement of black women and girls in Alberta. Again, that website is bwunited.ca.
This is Dmitry Samarov from Chicago, Illinois, and I love listening to Vish Khanna's Creative Control because whether he's talking to a favorite musician or actor of mine or someone I've never heard of, it's as if he's introducing me to a new friend. And the way things are going, couldn't you use a new friend? Listen now.
To make your flexible monthly donation to Creative Control, please visit patreon.com/creativecontrol today.
Will Oldham and Lori Damiano are each gifted and prolific artists who currently live in Louisville, Kentucky and Portland, Oregon, respectively. Over the past 30 years or so, Oldham's wise and distinctive voice and songwriting perspectives have positively altered folk, country, and rock music via his vast and ever-growing catalog under banners like Palace, Bonnie Prince Billy, Superwolves, and his own given name. Increasingly, Oldham's lyrics make sense. Damiano is a wonderful visual artist who works within the realms of animation, illustration, murals, surface design, advertising, packaging, apparel, filmmaking, fine art, fiber art, and education, and has collaborated on various projects with Oldham over the years. Their most recent work together is a children's book called Shorty's Ark, which was illustrated by Damiano and based on a song of the same name, which came out in 2021 and was written by Oldham and the remarkable guitarist Matt Sweeney. Shorty's Ark is a beautiful hardcover book which was published by Drag City Records on April 21st, 2023, and it prompted Will and Lori to join me for a nice talk about things like gardening, the Kentucky Derby, and horses, the history of their collaborative relationship, the state of children's books, and what it's like reading and writing children's books, knowing that animals are real, zoos, and a live sea otter cam which made Lori laugh so hard it impacted our ability to hear her on the communication interface we were using, but you, the listener, will hear her clearly in ways we couldn't at the time. The fascinating origin story behind the song Shorty's Ark, a dream like a death, weaving, future plans, and much more. A part of the Entertainment One network with the support of listeners like you who follow and subscribe to this podcast and spread the word about it, and make flexible monthly donations at patreon.com/creativecontrol. This is a donor-driven podcast, so if you have the means and the inclination to support all the work that goes into this podcast all the time, please consider doing so at patreon.com/creativecontrol. Thank you. With additional support from Blackbird Music, a wonderful record store with physical locations in Edmonton and Calgary, Alberta, and very friendly staff who will happily help you look for whatever it is you need. Hey, say you want to order some Will Oldham stuff, some Bonnie Prince Billy stuff, some Superwolf stuff, or maybe you want to order this book, Shorty's Ark. Well, just head over to blackbird.ca, type in what you want in the search box, and lo and behold, they'll either ship it right to you if they can, or they'll save it for you at the store and tell you to come by when you feel like it. It's just that simple. Learn more about Blackbird Music at blackbird.ca. Plus, in-kind support from Pizza Trocadero, The Bookshelf, and Planet Bean Coffee, respectively, in Guelph, Ontario, and Granddad's Donuts in Hamilton, Ontario. This is episode 775 of Creative Control, featuring the lovely and talented Will Oldham and Lori Damiano, with your host, me, Vish Khanna.
Fair maids I'll prove untrue. And if you think that these are false promises, I'll leave these vows as a pledge to you. that what I do may prove unsuccessful, and fortune prove to be a slippery ball, that a favoring gale it may ne'er blow on me.
Hi, Lori. How's it going?
Great. How are you?
I'm well. Thanks for asking. Where in the world are you today?
I'm in Portland, Oregon.
Nice. How are things going in Portland for you, particularly you, today?
Great. It's gardening season, so we're all excited.
Oh, nice. So you got a garden in your house there?
There is kind of a garden in here. Actually, I'm standing in the only spot in the house where the floor doesn't squeak, and it's right by all these houseplants, so there might be some little tiny fly traffic going by.
Oh. I encourage that on this show, if I may. That's great. I like the insects fluttering about. That's lovely. How long have you been in Portland, if I may ask?
I think like 16 years or so, off and on.
16 years. Okay. And where are you from originally?
I'm from the Central Valley in California.
Oh, nice. So you're a West Coast person.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, I want to say, I don't know you. This is the first time we've ever interacted. I was looking at your website in the lead up to our conversation, and your body of work is very impressive, if I may say. I don't mean to butter you up, but it's really remarkable. And so I can't wait to talk to you more about, where is it? I have a copy of it here. Like I'm on David Letterman. I love this book, and my family loves it. Oh yeah, Will's got one too. Look at that. That's great. Yeah, it's wonderful. So I can't wait to get into a bit more of your background there. But before we go too much further, Will, are you there?
I am.
It's lovely to see you. How are you doing?
Jury's out.
I've heard that. No,
Yeah.
just kidding. Where in the world are you today, Will?
I'm in the attic in Louisville, Kentucky.
How are things going in Louisville?
It's Derby time, you know?
So you got a lot of horses?
There's not a lot of horses, no more horses. I mean, all the horses are apparently getting hurt and dying at the track because it's such a cruel and unusual quote-unquote sport. But it's, it's such a big deal here that, like, kids are out of school tomorrow because of the Derby. Is
it an unusual amount of fatality among the...
It is, yeah. It's been on, I think it's even, maybe it'd been on national news.
Oh no! Is that the conditions? Like the?
It's just the way. It's the respect that people have for the most important part of horse racing is lacking.
Oh my God! I'm so sorry to hear that. That's horrible.
Here in Louisville, we celebrate gambling and alcoholism. Those are the lifeblood of the city. And healthcare for profit. Healthcare for profit. Yeah.
That does not sound good at all. I'm sorry. And given the context of a book,
fertile grounds for writing things.
Yes, well, we're talking about a book that celebrates the animals in particular, so I imagine it's germane. Well, listen, not to leave you out of it, congratulations on Shorty's Arc, the song and the book. They're both, as you may know, Will, I love the last Super Wolves record. It's remarkable. I play it constantly still. And I say this because in this day and age, it's hard to get people to keep listening to things after a couple of months. You know what I'm saying?
It's highly discouraged, yes. It's
discouraged. That is the exact word for it. And I try to fight it, but I'm also on the hamster wheel because I need to prepare for all these conversations. And so it's me. I know this. It stands out. Listening to it this week. Wonderful. So I want to get into a few different things here, but let's start with you two in particular. Lori, how do you and Will kind of know each other? I know there's a bit of history there.
Well, we have mutual friends, and a really long time ago, I sent Will some rocks through the mail, and I think that's how we met.
And a map.
Is that? Oh yeah, and a map.
That was when you were in Vancouver, yeah.
No, I was actually going to school in Southern California, so I lived in this canyon.
Huh. Is that when you sent the map? But the map wasn't. So. I thought the map was like Vancouver related.
Maybe it's a different map.
I have it somewhere. Yeah. What map are you thinking of?
Well, I remember trying to tell you about the canyon that I lived next to, I lived in. That's the one I remember, but there may have been more than one map. Okay. I don't know.
This is Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, for some Canadian content here. Is this correct?
Yeah.
So you spent time in Vancouver. See, I missed that earlier. That's interesting. What were you doing in Vancouver?
Most of my most beloved friends live there.
Oh.
So I was just playing and hanging out with them.
This is a strange question given how big cities tend to be, but is it anyone we might know in the music or arts realm? Someone I might know personally, if I may be selfish? Is there anyone you can cite in terms of some of your Canadian friends?
I mean, most of my friends I knew through skateboarding. There are a lot of artists and musicians in the mix, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know who you know.
It's impossible. Impossible question. I just thought if you said, I don't know, somebody famous from Vancouver, Ryan Reynolds, I'd be like, oh, yeah, I've heard of him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I never saw him at the skate park.
Yeah, he's probably buying the skate park. That guy, he seems to buy everything. Anyway, that's okay. So you got a Canadian connection too. So you sent, I just want to backtrack. Rocks. What compels someone to send another human being, rocks? Why were you sending Will some rocks?
I don't remember why. I just really, I liked them. One of them, I remember one looked like a little steak. I'm a vegetarian, but it was a cool little miniature. And I had heard that the moon broke off from that canyon.
Oh.
I don't even remember. There's like some lore. So I was like walking around looking for moon rocks, like exploring, and I found some, I think. Huh. So I think I sent those. Is that right, Will? Do you remember? It was so long ago.
My rock collection is extensive, and once it comes into my possession, it just becomes a rock, unfortunately. And I have thousands now. Yeah.
Is it normal for people to mail you rocks, Will? Is that something you request?
No, I think it's significant. It's more speaking to an inherent relationship that, I think there's a lot of that Laurie does that, might not be technically considered natural or normal, but it speaks to me very clearly and specifically. So sending the rocks is one aspect of that. Right.
Laurie is laughing at your description of her relationship to normalcy, I think. Laurie, is that what you were laughing at?
Yeah.
That's lovely. That's great. And the map, you don't have the map handy, do you? Well, I want to visualize.
I don't have it handy, no, but I'm sure I have it, but I don't have it handy.
Okay, nice. So, as I alluded to, I think this Shorty's Arc, this book is not the first time you've maybe collaborated. Forgive me if I'm wrong about this, but that's why you're here, to tell me I'm wrong. Will, have you worked with Laurie before?
Yeah. There's a bunch of things. I've got a painting right here. Well, I could show you.
Sure.
I got two right here in this room, actually. One of them was a collaboration, and you can't see it.
Oh yeah.
There. So that was the cover of the Cold and Wet single from the Letting Go record.
Mm-hmm.
That might have been around the first time. Was that around the first time that we officially collaborated together?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And then over here is a painting that I got from Laurie called Wolfroy Goes to Town, after which I named the record.
Here we go. Okay.
And that's just the ones in this room, I think. Yeah. But then, so for Letting Go, there was also an incredible poster that Laurie made. And then, Ask Forgiveness, she did the border around the cover and the illustration. There's other illustrations in there that she made. And the back cover of Songs of Love and Horrors, Laurie's. And what else? More stuff. There's more.
That little illustration in your book.
Oh, in the book, in the lyric book also, yeah. As soon as you open it up, there's Laurie's work in there, yeah.
That was the first thing that came to mind for me.
Tons of inspiration, yeah. Just in general, her work buoys my approach to my work and has for many years now.
I love this about you, Will. When someone's work or whatever expression touches you, you're all in. I like that. I like that this is clearly the case. I know it can be awkward to do so with someone in the same virtual room as you, but can you speak to what it is about Laurie's aesthetic or approach that has appealed to you and why you continue to want to collaborate?
That's a good question. First of all, it's visceral. It's just seeing it and not being able to control my emotions or my reaction to it when I see it. And usually the dominant emotion is one of joy and release. And just seeing things realized. Well, no, it's just joy. Yeah, it's just a connection. It's just a connection. I think there is probably, Laurie is accountable and self-sufficient, which are things that I value in other human beings, especially in artists, and continues, and seems to work extremely hard, but always, I guess she's a humanist in my estimation. I think I have an appreciation for humanist artists, and Laurie is one of the finest examples of one of those living and working today.
That's very lovely and well said. Thank you, Will. Laurie, similar kinds of questions, I suppose, around what Will's work might mean to you, and maybe if it inspires you in your work. Is it possible to speak to that?
Yeah, I'll try. I feel like I have pandemic brain, so we'll see how it goes.
That's okay. We all have it, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It's everywhere.
I like that it's a pandemic. No one can say, I'm out. I don't feel a thing. No, that's the whole point of the term. It's everything. Sorry, I don't want to digress.
Everybody.
Don't apologize.
Yes.
Every day is like this for me. I have pandemic. Everyone does, So
Are there islands like, in Gilligan's Island, the episode where the Japanese soldier, washes up with the submarine and doesn't realize World War II is over? Are there places, do you think, where someone has no awareness that such a thing as a global pandemic occurred?
I think probably Fox News. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know, actually. I don't know the answer to that. Probably. Yeah. Probably. Yeah. Yeah. I think there's...
It seemed to do a pretty good job of covering territory, I felt like, in terms of awareness. Probably the best. I can't think of another event that's gotten better press.
I don't think so, yeah. I don't know who's in the PR department there, but they're doing a bang-up job. It's just some people resist. And still, they're like, oh, I didn't know that album came out 5 years ago. Really? It was all over the news. That's what I'm hearing. Sorry, Laurie, real digression here. I didn't mean to start anything. Can you speak to Will's work and what it means to you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the first time it really hit me was like in 1999, I was on a train going to Sydney from Melbourne, where I was an exchange student, and I was listening to I See a Darkness, and I don't know, that moment like really jumps out to me when I don't even know how to describe it. This is so inarticulate, but I just was like, it was feeling like, yeah, a connection, I guess, like Will's describing.
Visceral.
Like,
it's a visceral,
yeah,
almost impossible to articulate, I would think.
Yeah, so I think there's something in Will's music that there's a kind of like storytelling that I feel like, I don't know, but it seems like there could be a similar approach in process where, like for me, I'm like pulling out observations from real moments, but also like disrupting those with like things that I would like to imagine. And there's like a lot of surprises, like in Will's songwriting and the lyrics, there's like all these surprises that just delight me so deeply. And yeah, so I feel like for me, there's something like that is happening in when I'm trying to make images, where I'm like recording things, but also I don't know the right way to say that.
I like that. The element of surprise, I do think, is something, it's important for me to surprise myself with the understanding that ideally that would extend to it, surprising the listener. And that is something that I come across in your work constantly, is this wonderfully satisfying surprise of like bursting through a membrane that previously seemed impervious, and all of a sudden there's this fun, beautiful things coming through it that you're kind of like, well, of course I could never have imagined that, and of course it's intensely satisfying to me. Yeah,
I will say, Laurie, I think you're speaking on behalf. The way you articulated that, I think you may not realize, but you're speaking on behalf of a whole whack of fans of Will's work. It's exactly what I feel. It's been so lovely to have this book in my house. My daughter and I have bonded over it at story time. I added the element of playing the actual song during some of our readings. She and I now, I sing to my daughter. I'm on a shift with my wife. We alternate days. So when I go up there to read and sing, we've started singing the song together. She's really interested in it. She's got the words down pretty much already, quickly. I think that's a testament to Will and Matt and you, Lori, as well. Like it's a connection thing. And the surprise thing, I wanted to allude to something for folks who may not get to see this. In my privileged position, I'm often sent biographical details and information. I'm just switching my screen to this PDF about the makers of Shorty's Ark. Will Oldham makes songs mostly out of his home in Louisville, Kentucky, where he lives with his wife, Elsa Hanson Oldham, and their daughter, Poppy Jo. Increasingly, Oldham's lyrics make sense. Period. That made me laugh out loud. That is a brilliant sentence. And I don't know what to tell you. I get these bios all the time. They don't make me laugh. That's a surprise. Yeah. That's very funny. I'm sorry, Will. I don't mean to put you on the spot. I assume you had some hand in that. Very funny.
Thank you, Google Bard, for doing such a great job at writing that. It's amazing.
Increasingly, sorry, it's making me laugh now. I apologize, but I think the surprise and the sense of humor comes through in all of Will's work. Anyway, I didn't mean to further digress. Thank you for both doing the awkward job of commending the other in front of the other as well. But I just wanted to get a sense and give people a sense of this relationship. Let's get into Shorty's Ark in particular, because we've outlined some other ways you've interacted. Lori, how did the collaboration on this book with Will and everyone else involved, how did it actually begin?
I think Will sent me a text in like late 2020. Is that how it began?
Probably. I don't know.
It was mysterious, though. The text was mysterious.
That doesn't seem...
It was just about a project.
It doesn't seem like a Will Oldham text to me, but yeah, sure. Was it mysterious? It's vague.
It didn't say what it was. It just said it was a project that we should, like, maybe we could talk about a project. And then I didn't find out for a little while later, I think.
Now, as I said, I went through your website, Lori, and I was looking at all your remarkable works. I'm not sure I saw and forgive me if I'm incorrect, I don't think I saw too many children's book illustrations. Is that fair? Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah, this is the first time that I've ever been able to do this, and I'm so excited. It's something I wanted to do for so long, and I don't think Will knew that at all. It just happened that way.
I see.
So, yeah.
So, in your own, Will, like me, I think is a parent of a young child or children. Lori, are you have you been exposed much to sort of children's books since you've not been a child? Let's put it that way, in your adult years?
I mean, yes, but I haven't even though I've wanted to make one, I haven't tried to research that world. I've just enjoyed the ones that I've come across around kids that I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm learning a lot about this whole landscape of amazing books that I didn't know about. Yeah. As we were working on this, we were researching other books and talking about books that we liked. So yeah.
Nice. So it could be a little bit of a gateway for you there.
Yeah.
For further projects, hopefully. Yeah. Will, I think I've seen you even opine about some of the kids' books that you've encountered in the marketplace. Fair to say you've consumed a lot in recent years? Is that a fair assessment?
It's a fair assessment. Yeah. Just got back from the library with a new little load as well.
What is your general sort of feeling about what you were seeing? I assume, or what you've seen, sorry, I should say, because we do the same thing. The library, my wife, Michelle, just brought a stack home from the library, and the kids rejected all of them. No, don't even want to look at it. And we're like, why? They want the same, sometimes they want the same things.
Yeah.
So, sorry.
And do you take that answer as a final answer?
No, we try.
Yeah, okay.
I will confess that because it was meaningful to me as a kid, and I don't even remember why, I've been trying to say, Ramona, we should read Charlotte's Web. You guys ever hear tell or read Charlotte's Web? Do you know that book?
Yes.
So I remember it from my youth and reading it numerous times, and she just no. And it's because she's still pandemic brain, I will confess, or whatever. My daughter's, it's been hard. She's been whatever behind means. I hate using that because what the fuck. But we're trying to get her reading and writing a bit more, and if there's not pictures in every page, that can be a problem. But she's getting better and better, and we're reading together, and it's really fun. Sorry, a little personal aside, but yeah, that's been a no for about a year and a half. Can we try it now? No, I don't want it. What is the pig, the spider? Nah, won't try. But to answer your question, no, the library books will slowly sneak their way into rotation because they have to. We're like, well, it's got to go back in 3 weeks. We ain't got a lot of time here.
Yeah.
And so we make it through. My question, though, sorry, Will, I hope, does that answer your question? I think it does. Was I too evasive in my answer? Yes, is the answer to your question.
Gotcha.
Is there anything that you, in sort of surveying stuff, consuming what you've consumed, did any of that kind of inform what you wanted to do with such a book, or maybe even why you wanted to make such a book like Shorty's Ark?
Sure. Over the years, I think there have been many conscious and unconscious references in lyrics to songs that I've put together that are pulling from the world of kids' books as I remember them from childhood. And in general, when I'm picking up books at the library, I try to think of books that, you know, one criteria is that Poppy might look at it when she's 12 or 18 or 35 and say, oh, I remember that from when I was a child, and feel good about having read it rather than feeling humiliated or resentful for having been, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Shorty's Ark just, you know, it just plays out like a children's book that, you know, like a children's book like the children's books that I have an appreciation for, because it's repetitive, it's simple, it's basic, but it's wide-ranging. It's funny, and there are certain kinds of complexities that can please the adult reader or the adult child looking back at the book, I think.
Yeah, every time we've been singing along and reading along, and Ramona will add, my daughter will add little asides, like instead of just saying, and a giraffe, she'll be like, with boots, because I think that's an example of a giraffe wearing maybe cowboy boots, if my memory serves.
Yeah.
And she's picking up on that stuff. So there's little jokes.
That really struck Poppy as well. the boots on the giraffe. Yeah.
So just to home in on that, Lori, you're thinking about this song, this beautiful song.
Lori's muting her laughter.
Yes, I noticed that.
Are you muting your laughter? Come on.
We need a laugh track here.
No, I put it on like the highest background.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I see.
Like blocking, because there's construction, there's thunder, there's landscaping going on.
Well, just for our own gratification, any laughter you can insert into this makes us
laugh closer to the mic.
Just laugh closer, because we're seeing you with your big laugh. No, just kidding, Lori. What was I going to say there? Yeah, Lori. So I'm going to
boots. You want to know where the boots came from?
Want to home in on the boots and other details, actually, because you're hearing the song. There's no boots in the song. What kind of interpretive license do you have with the song to add little things there? Are you going back? Are you texting Will boots, and then he goes like, yeah, or how does that work?
Oh my goodness, Will. Oh wait, what's this? Oh my gosh.
What happened?
Sorry.
What?
This is so funny.
What is it?
Oh my god.
Oh no.
Okay, sorry.
Is there a giraffe did a giraffe enter the call? Did we call it out? What's going on?
Actually, it's kind of like that because...
What?
Okay.
He's laughing.
Everyone?
I can imagine in Portland, Oregon, that maybe giraffes do wear boots, actually.
Yeah, I don't know.
And we have to tell Lori, like, actually in the rest of the world, something called reality reigns, and giraffes actually don't wear boots.
They don't wear boots.
She's like, wait, giraffes outside of Portland, Oregon don't wear boots?
You can't just put a pocket wolf in your pocket, is what I think. Another thing I learned. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, Lori, you okay? What's happening?
Oh, sorry.
We can't hear you laughing. Just for everyone, she's like miming joy is all I can say. It's a silent joy. Yeah. It's like a silent film. It's like a Chaplin film. What's happening over there?
There are also card-playing moles in the book, and I imagine that's something that happens in Portland as well.
Yeah.
Where like there's little coffee bars where moles go to play cards.
Absolutely.
And everyone's just like, this is normal, and we do everything correctly.
Ramona's like, the lion's wearing a wristwatch. What the heck? Just little fun things for everyone. There's lots of fun.
The Black Widow has a heart on its abdomen.
It's very fun, and I encourage everyone to open it. But we need Lori back in the call. She's
are you back?
hyperventilating over there. What's going on, Lori?
Can you hear me?
Sort of. Yes.
Sort of. I wonder if I'm too far away. Anyway, I had in the background a webcam of the otter tank at the Monterey Bay Aquarium that I was enjoying earlier. And it just like kicked on with audio because I guess they came in to feed the otters. I don't know.
This is very appropriate for this book.
Sorry.
Nothing could be more appropriate.
Is.
Otters eating at the aquarium. That could be a line in the song. Well, it may be artful.
My goodness.
I missed otters. I'm so sorry that I missed otters.
Well, my daughter has some questions about what didn't make it in, by the way. But anyway.
Hippos? Are hippos in there?
I
don't think hippos made it in either.
I can't remember.
Hippo make it in?
Can't remember.
No.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Hippos and otters are two of my favorite animals, so I'm kind of angry at myself.
Well, it's hard to rhyme. What rhymes with hippos? I mean, if we're going with rhymes.
Yeah. Hippopotamus.
Hippopotamus.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, Lori, what was my question before you lost it?
You were asking about the boots and like the wristwatch.
Yeah.
Those little
I was
details.
asking about the exchange of ideas with Will. That's what I was asking about.
Yes,
There you got the song, and then you've got artistic license to some extent, I'm guessing, but are you going back and forth with it? Yeah.
Yeah, so much artistic license. I think like most of my projects with Will start out with me like pitching him on me doing something else because I'm like worried about doing what I already like doing. And then he always like course corrects and he's like, so supportive and like affirming, and then I can get to work. But like we usually have to go through that first.
So just for those listening and who have heard us fumbling about in the last few moments, in Oregon, the state of Oregon, and in Portland, do giraffes wear boots?
Good question.
I've never seen a giraffe here. I don't know. They might.
Oh,
like the ferries in Birmingham, England.
So your admission that you've never seen a giraffe suggests that you don't know, and maybe
exactly.
You assume.
I don't know.
You presume.
Have
why
you never ever seen a giraffe in person?
No, I have, but I've never seen one in Portland.
Yeah. Is there a zoo in Portland?
There is, but I've only been on the train that goes by it. So you can see like a couple enclosures, but I haven't actually gone into the zoo. But it's a really great zoo, I hear.
This probably says something more about me, but we used to, when I lived in Ontario, we haven't done any zoo going here, but I'll tell you why. Maybe we would take the kids to the Toronto Metropolitan Zoo, I think is what it's called. As an adult, I find it depressing. I find it depressing to see the animals in the states they're in. And I don't know about you. Will, do you have any of that? Or do you just think, like, I mean, the majesty and the whatever, that's there. But do you ever get like, poor lion?
I don't. No, I don't. It's not something that depresses me.
It doesn't depress you. Okay. No. This is, like I say, just me. Just me. Lori, do you like the zoo?
I think a lot of people don't like zoos, yeah.
But for the same reason.
Yeah. I think there's so many things where we hold two things in mind simultaneously. Like I feel that way too, that I don't want to think about it. It's hard to like acknowledge what's happening. But then there's also, I don't know, I guess I'm like trying to make it seem better in my mind by understanding that some of the animals like are having issues where they couldn't be out in the wild and being cared for and that sort of thing. I teach animation and there's a lot of life drawing at the zoo. So I've taken so many students to the zoo to draw in LA, and the students are usually pretty depressed about it. So
I didn't mean to make it gloomy. I'm saying I went to the zoo a lot as a kid, and I didn't think that hard on it. I just went, and But then when I took my kids, they would ask me questions. Like, why does the hippopotamus seem sad, and how come there's no words that rhyme with hippopotamus? And I'd say, those are two good questions. I don't know. It's not good. I agree. And then as you go, they're like, they all look a little sad. So anyway, I'm just saying they were into it, but they were also like, why can't the monkey just be a monkey? I think those are the kind of the way I read the questions. Why does it have to be in a... Anyway, guys, we're not going
to... Well, I can tell you that the otters I've been watching are psyched. They look so stoked.
I love animals. I love them.
That's good.
Yeah.
Otters are happy. When I was a kid in high school, I had a classmate whose dad ran the zoo, and so there was one time when we got to go to the zoo after hours, and around sunset, it was just one of the happiest places I'd ever been. The animals were so happy. So I guess I'm trying to assert the possibility that animals like us just hate the working hours. Like they hate the slog, and we're watching them just as you would if you walked into anybody's office. You'd be like, why is this person so depressed? Why isn't this person just jumping for joy and like pleasing me with their behavior right now? And then as soon as they leave their work, they go to the bar for happy hour. They're smiling, and the animals were just so happy and playful, and they were just like, finally, all these stupid people are gone, and we can just be ourselves, and we've done our work representing our species so that children around the world know that we exist and need attention, because without that, you know, kids would just be like, why are you showing me a book with weird aliens in it? I can, you know, they exist everywhere. Like, yeah.
Very well put. That's a good point. So the animals are clocking out and hitting the town.
Clocking out, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, got it.
Especially the otters.
It sounds like it. I mean, we lost Lori for like 5 minutes there. Hysterics. That was unbelievable. I've never had that happen before. No, it's good. I want to see that. Can you send me the link to the otter cam? Because now I want to share it with everyone who's listening to this so that they can watch it as well. Now, we've hinted at possibly why this particular song might have inspired this collaboration. But Will, can you, because I think they're connected, can you talk a little bit about maybe what inspired Shorty's Ark, the song, why you think it maybe could serve well to translate into this project, and maybe within that, what the song might mean per se, what you were trying to convey in terms of writing a song like this and putting it in this form as a book. Can you speak to all of those things?
Yes, frankly. Should I speak frankly, or should I?
Unless it's going to hurt me, I encourage you to speak.
No,
frankly.
I don't think it will hurt you.
Okay.
Well, I'm also, sometimes I worry about talking about the origin of the song, because I'm worried that someone will jump up and claim like, except there was no like money that exchanged hands. But essentially, like, I don't know how long ago, maybe 6 years ago or maybe 6 years ago, somebody contacted me and asked if I would potentially be interested in writing lyrics for a new record by the New Orleans style jazz musician Trombone Shorty. And they sent me a bunch of songs, and I listened to the songs, and I wrote lots of words for these songs. And at the time, I think he was recording for Blue Note, and the guy Don was running Blue Note, and I even had like an hour-long conversation on the phone with Don Was about Trombone Shorty and songwriting and things like that. And yeah, and one of the, you know, and I was just trying to imagine where I could, you know, I love writing songs for other people because I love the privilege and power that I do not try to take advantage of putting words into singers' mouths, just as I love, you know, I have this joy of singing other people's words. So I like the idea, well, if I could get this person to sing anything or offer them the opportunity to sing anything, what would it be? And in this case, one of the songs was the original structure for Shorty's Ark. So I sent all these through management and blah, 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 and I literally never heard a word about any of them. So then I had a friend who was in the music business, and he would say like, okay, well now, who was it? It was like, I think he said Emmylou Harris is making a record and she's looking for songs. So I was like, okay, I think with some tweaking I could make this into an Emmylou Harris song. So I rewrote it and changed the name to Emmylou's Ark and sent it to her, sent it to whoever these people were. And again, zero crickets, just nothing. So then, you know, Matt Sweeney like emerges from his, you know, cave slumber and says, you know, I think I have, you know, I think it's time for us to make some songs. And so I started working on new songs right away, and there was a little bit of momentum, and I thought, okay, I'm going to, you know, tweak this back and rearrange it and send it to Matt and I like the name Shorty's Ark, then, you know, just appropriating the term shorty for like you know, an affectionate term for someone that you have a crush on. And then figuring that shorty can be anybody then. It can be yourself when you're singing the song, or it can be a child, or it can be just anybody in the world could be shorty. Even Vladimir Putin could be shorty with, you know, the right brush painting.
I feel like shorty is invoked on the record again, at least. I
threw shorty into the traditional Irish song, I Am a Youth Inclined to Ramble.
I heard that. Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Shorty in there once or twice. Yeah, exactly.
So shorty is not anyone specific. It's a term of endearment that is in the vernacular nowadays.
Well, it's always someone specific, but that specificity is up to the individual and the moment. Yeah.
I've heard that sometimes for some shorties, it's their birthday. Have you ever heard that?
I have heard that. Yes. I think about that all the time also, yeah.
Just for the record, everyone, that was a joke that Lori definitely didn't laugh at. So I'm going to let that slide by. 50-cent joke's not
it's a 50-cent joke. Did you get that, Lori?
I was trying to figure out whose birthday it was. Okay.
Shorty.
Just do that 50-cent callback. Okay, thank you for that explanation, Will. So, Lori, you talked about the lovely ability you had to collaborate, to come up with stuff and collaborate with Will. You hear the song for the first time or whatever when you're thinking about this project. Does your mind go in a million different directions? It seems to me like you just went nuts on every page, if I may say. Like, it's lovely. It's beautiful. But you're dissecting the song line by line to be like, okay, for that, I'm going to do this and this and this. I hate to ask you maybe a simple question, but can you give us a little background as to how you approached the lyrics of the song in terms of what your role in this project was?
Yeah. When I work with a song, I've only got to do it a couple of times on a project. I like to just go for a walk. I just like to walk around and listen to it over and over. And then images start to come into my mind. And I think one of the first things I did was like figure out how to break up the pages around the song and like think about the structure of the book, you know, and like there in my mind there's like a specific delineation between these two parts of it. So I sort of had a little system and then within that there's like a lot of symmetry on some pages and then other pages not so much.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I got into it.
Very nice. Will, is there anything more? I know you alluded to, or rather explained maybe where the song's, the origin of it came from, but in terms of what you were trying to convey and the story that it turns into here, I don't know that we got to that part of it, because there's some points that Lori describes the way she illustrated things, and there's some symmetrical things, and there's some, as the animals are sort of itemized, that's pretty clear, but then I don't know if it's a bridge per se, but something kind of shifts, and it's about the afterlife. It's about legacy almost, I think. Is that a fair way of articulating? Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Does it necessarily shift? It begins. I mean, it begins that way. I want to save the animals before it starts to rain and march them 2 by 2 into, you know, the original lyric actually was I want to march them 2 by 2 into this song, and that's something that Sweeney abridged. I want the kids to know their names. So from the beginning, it's about legacy.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I guess it's a different approach to looking at not only this beastly concept of climate change, but our potential reactions to it. And as in my position, what I can realistically, you know, do to contribute to a positive trajectory in response to what we're potentially witnessing, I guess. And that is, you know, by putting, you know, as a zoo, you know, I'm not creating a zoo though, and creating a song, and Lori's creating this book where these animals are not cruelly treated, as they may or may not be in certain zoos around the world. Yeah. They're treated, you know, with love and respect and you know, reverence and humor and familiarity and fondness. For the most part, the animals are reproduced with some degree of anatomical correctness, I guess. even as they are playful and have a cartoon qualities to them, sometimes they all are absolutely 100% recognizable as the animals that we've named them. And as we are doubtless going to, within our lifetimes, probably see some of these very animals disappear in living form from the earth, if not probably our children's lifetimes. Yeah, just celebrating their existence in the ways that we can do it through singing and painting.
It's interesting because I want to name the animals that's a human thing to do. This is my dog, Phil.
Yeah.
And so you kind of weirdly humanize the animal by giving it a name, if I may. It's the wrong word because we're talking about animals. But then we've been joking about some of the human iconography. Sunglasses, wristwatch, boots. There's a whole thing here that I think Will and Laurie, you seem to be wanting to help people relate to animals. That these are relatable creatures. They're not aliens. They're not wild and necessary. I mean, some of them are, don't get me wrong, but is there something there, Will, in terms of like, I want to name the animals so that you can put a name to a face?
So I want to save them, and I want the kids to know their name. I want to save them through, through identifying them. Yeah. So rather than wanting to name them, I wanted to save them. But I guess, I'm oftentimes confused by my own urges and behavior, and it's usually animals that I can look to and say, this is something that we have in common that I'm not sure I feel is in common with the species that I've been raised to feel like I'm supposed to be aligned with. Yeah. And here we've created a verbal list of them, but I think, one of the magical aspects of Laurie's process is that she shows all these animals kind of specifically representing some of the things that I feel are underrepresented in human society in terms of my ability to relate. But I can relate to all of these animals in here. I'm like, these are my brothers and sisters, and my club members, and my posse. I recognize their smiles and their relationship to their leathery skins and their defense mechanisms in ways that I almost never do when I look at a fellow human being.
Yeah, and Laurie, I want to ask you a little bit about your own process in terms of adding some of these sort of fun, and I mean, one of the lyrics here is starfish, antelope, and deer, that wild hyena laugh, to which my daughter always adds a boisterous laugh. And then
does it sound like a hyena?
I don't remember.
Does she do a good job?
She tries. Yeah, she does.
I can't get that high anymore with my voice. When I was a kid, I could laugh like a hyena, but it's so hot. There, you almost did it there, Laurie.
Now that we got the sound filter thing off, we're hearing Laurie's hyena laugh. Yeah,
Laurie's hyena laugh.
The next line is human being, cockatoo, elephant, and bee. And then as this is as the song and the book are winding down, your mom's, your dad's, your penguin bird, your first best friend, and me. And for those who can't see it, the first best friend and me finds the character. This is Laurie's depiction. The character, I believe, Shorty, in a kind of handshake, if you will, with some friend of theirs. But best friend is an interesting. Your first best, for some kids, their first best friend is the animal in their house, the cat, the dog. That's true. Yeah. And I think there's a lot of like human animal interactivity going on in this song, in this book. Laurie, I think you've done a wonderful job capturing that motif. I rest my case, Your Honor. No, I don't know why I'm making this argument. Laurie, does that resonate with you?
Yeah, absolutely. That's funny though, because I think that is one of the only questions I asked Will. I think I asked you, who's me, or something like that.
Right.
Right.
No, and I remember that, and maybe because you asked that, like, there's my life over the past 15, 16 years is full of these marvelous Laurie D. Acme moments where it's like the reveal of seeing something that she'll show me or send me. And the biggest ones were, those last 2 pages, because I didn't necessarily know how to answer the question. And I just thought, it's just too abstract. There's no way that Laurie's gonna, she's gonna come up with something and it's gonna be great and it'll be totally fine and awesome and blah blah blah. And then, but when I saw it, it was a Laurie D moment where I was just, like I'm gasping, I've got tears in my eyes, like seeing, that the best friends are sharing a pair of pink roller skates.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
It's lovely.
It's incredible. Yeah.
I want.
Who can you roller skate on one roller skate with? Only your best friend.
That's right. Listen, I just want to say this book is lovely, but I want to thank you for just briefly even welcoming me into this clearly lovely dynamic you two share. It means a lot to me to get to interlope a little bit. So thank you for bearing with me and my questions about this work. It means a lot. So I can't help but wonder what, well, first of all, before I get into sort of what's next questions and potential future collaborations or any other projects you both want to talk about, I guess I want to give you both an opportunity to say we've covered a fair amount of ground here. We've invoked 50 Cent at least once and some otters. I think this is it's wide ranging, but I want to give you each an opportunity to say anything about the book that maybe I didn't prompt you to, or that maybe was left unsaid. So, yeah, let's just go with that. Will, is there anything more you want to tell people about the book, or something we haven't gotten to?
Wow. Well, the book is beautiful with and without its dust jacket also.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what they're called. Laura, do you remember what are they called? Like the end pages?
Yeah, I think
is that what they're called?
I think so.
There's all these book-specific terminology, but that it's something, I don't know, that every page is remarkable and beautiful, and yeah, I'm incredibly great, because I think that Lori knows this, that she's been one of the most important people in my life over the past 15, 16 years. But the amount of time we've physically gotten to spend, or like even this, where we get to see each other, it's so pathetically, painfully minimal and small. So I'm really grateful for this opportunity to have this kind of interaction, even because we live on opposite ends of the country. You never even been to Kentucky, have you? Yeah. That's a shame.
Kentucky's lovely. I mean, I don't know how she's in this conversation. I think we've discovered she lives in Portland, California, Vancouver. She was in Australia. I don't know how you'd keep track of Lori anyway. There's no way. She's hard to pin down. Lori's, sorry. Lori, similar question. Anything more you want to say about this book for people who, may not be picking up on all the Easter eggs or anything like that?
Yeah, there is something I want to tell about, but I want to thank Will for saying that. I feel the same way. And thank you so much, Vish, for giving us the opportunity to talk about all this and for your interest in it.
Well, of course.
The thing I want to share is that, like, the end pages with all the stars flying around, it's like outer space.
Yeah.
That combined with some of these other big illustrations, the 2-page spreads that are in the middle of the book. Like I was drawing upon this experience I had. I probably told Will about this before. I don't remember though. Sleeping in a canoe in New Jersey, because I had this like transcendent dream where I became like a ball of light and was like flying around with all these other like comets, like energies, and everything was super colorful, and we were like flying up into the stars and then plunging down into this lake, and everything would get smeary, and there was like rainbow sparkles, and just like it was the most beautiful, incredible experience. And so I was drawing upon that a lot for all those illustrations. Yeah, I don't know, I just really, it was fun to like have had that experience and sort of felt like I died,
Oh, wow.
Like what it would be like to be just a spirit. And it was so beautiful. So that's where that was coming from.
Wow. Well, thank you for sharing that. I would not have known that, obviously. And how...
But you can spend, you could spend, in the sort of gatefold pages, when the rains come, we'll be there. So the beginning of the second verse through we'll join them by and by you could spend days just looking at those 4 pages and just losing yourself in them.
Well, yeah, well, I can appreciate that, but Lori, thank you for that lovely insight. What a profound experience you had, and how appropriate it is for that section. I described it like a bridge, like the book has a bridge, but I think that's probably not accurate. But it is to me a shift. Reading it, I can tell you, having read it many, many times with my daughter, like it's like, okay, something's shifting here. It's more about, like you say, Will, we already covered it. Like maybe the whole book begins with this notion of future thinking and legacy, but something there shifts. Like, anyway, I don't want to dwell on it because I'm not articulating myself very well. Lori, that was lovely. Thank you for sharing that. And I hope you don't die.
Me too. I hope I don't.
Listen, the book is available via Drag City. I want to give you each a chance to just talk about anything else that's coming up for you, either together or things you want people to know about, and plugs if you want to send people to things where they can learn more about you each. Lori, do you have anything you want to talk about?
nothing that I can talk about, but I am going to be doing a lot more weaving for the rest of my life. So I look forward to weaving things for everyone.
Oh, okay.
Keep your eyes out for that.
I keep getting weaving updates on the show. Everyone's weaving. It's very
Really?
Yeah, it's a phenomenon. Friends of mine in Winnipeg, Christine Fellows, John K. Sampson. John K. Sampson, who you may know as a songwriter in a band called the Weaker Thans and on his own, has taken up weaving. And his whole Instagram, which I'll plug, Vivat Virtute, is that him weaving things for animals. Mostly dogs and cats. I can share that with you if you like at some point. It's Vivat Virtute, and I encourage you to check it out. It's great. And so there's a picture of the dog or the animal, and then the inscribed whatever he's made for them. I don't know if it's a scarf or whatever, and their name. It's lovely. What a great. Anyway, sorry. I just wanted to share that with you because animals are everywhere, and it's germane. Thank you, Lori, for that. Will, anything coming up that we need to know about that you can share? Because I know the government doesn't let you share all the information, but is there anything coming up?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. When are people listening to this?
Couple weeks.
Couple weeks. I can't remember if I have big news that I'm allowed to share before then or not. But I will have already played like in Vancouver and Portland and stuff like that. So after that, there's just a bunch of fun tours. Hopefully they'll be fun over the course of the year with wonderful folks sharing the bill and hitting parts of the world and parts of the country that I feel need some visiting.
Dragcity.com for some of that info. Will, do you want people to follow you on all of the crumbling social media platforms or what?
No.
Okay. Don't follow, deliberately do not follow Will Oldham on Twitter or Instagram.
I would just like to do as much as possible with what time I have left on Earth, encouraging people to spend less time interfacing with the internet and social media. So no.
Fair enough. Okay. Listen, traditionally, and Will knows this because he's been on the show several times, we go out on a song. How can we not go out on Shorty's Ark? Is that permissible?
Let's do it to it.
Okay. Lori, Will, this was really lovely. Lori, it was really great to meet you for the first time. Will, I love you. It's nice to see you again. Thank you for this.
Wonderful to see you, Vish.
I hope you enjoyed it, and best of luck in the future. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Sing them two by two. I want the kids to know their names. Lions, serpents, eagles and cows, skunks and rats and spiders, the wolverine and mouse, giant squids and honey bears, moles in the ground, killer whales, pocket wolves, rhinoceros and hound. Constellations with our song together, you and I. They'll remind us of eternity so they won't have to die. They fill our dreams with savage schemes. We'll join them by and by. Humpback whales, crocodiles, goldfish and giraffes, starfish, antelope, and deer, that wild hyena laugh, human being, cockatoo, elephant, and birds, your first best friend and me. Your first best friend and me. Your first best friend and me.
Thank you so much for listening to episode 775 of Creative Control featuring Will Oldham and Lori Damiano. That was a really fun and lovely conversation for me. I think for them, I can't speak on their behalf at this point, but I believe it was. I hope you enjoyed it too. And if you're new to the show, this is, like I say, it's the 775th episode of Creative Control, which is part of the Entertainment One podcast network and is available just about wherever you get your podcasts. If you can't find an episode that you've heard about and you're looking for it, or if you want to learn more about me and sign up for my monthly newsletter, please visit vishkhanna.com. You can also like the Creative Control page on Facebook. You can follow the show currently on Twitter at Vish Creative, or you can follow me directly on Twitter and on Instagram at Vishkhanna if you want to do those things. I don't know if we're going to be doing these things for much longer. That's my feeling. That's between you and me, but I'll say it anyway because I always say that. Also, please visit patreon.com/Creative Control to make a flexible monthly donation to sustain the work that goes into making this podcast. It's a weird time to make things and expect to receive any money for the things we make. This is something I love to do. I'd like to do it for a long time, if I can, but it's not the primary breadwinner. So I'm just saying, but still, I'm going to do it. This is not meant to be like a warning or a threat. It doesn't sound like a threat. $6 American or more a month grants you access to exclusive content from my audio archives, and you get the episodes earlier than everybody else, and there's some other perks to it too. You don't have to make your monthly thing $6, though. It can be less, it can be more. You can alter it at any time if you're like, oh, I won the lottery, and then, oh, I spent all the winnings. So you start at high because you won the lottery. You know what I'm saying? You can change it. So please consider doing that. And feel free to send me a message on the Patreon too, just to say hello, or if you want a Creative Control t-shirt. All the info you need to do all of those things at patreon.com/Creative Control. Thank you for considering that and for your patience in letting me get through this spiel. Thanks again to the wonderful Alberta record retailer Blackbird Music, which you can learn more about at blackbird.ca. Also want to thank Pizza Trocadero, The Bookshelf, and Planet Bean Coffee in Guelph, Ontario, and Granddad's Donuts in Hamilton, Ontario, for their in-kind support for this show. Thanks, as always, to my good friend and fellow Will Oldham fan, Jim Guthrie, for letting me use music of his on this show. You can learn more about Jim at jimguthrie.org. And finally, thank you so much for listening to this conversation with Will and Lori. I hope you'll check out Shorty's Arc and all the other wonderful things both of those people do. And I hope you subscribe to this podcast or listen to it or follow it or tell your friends about it. All of that stuff is helpful. So thanks for being you. I hope you're well. We'll talk soon. Bye for now.